Hey everybody, it's Laurie Blomer here. It is Sunday, April 28th. Missed last Sunday, I apologize, but I'm here to do this week's card pull for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. I'm in a really good mood because I just taught a class for a small group of people on animal totems and animal spirit guides, and we did some really interesting exercises working with each person worked with an animal that they felt particularly drawn to and an animal that they felt particularly fearful of or repelled by. Wow, was that interesting. And I'm really grateful to everyone who is here. We work with some of the references books that are out there. You'll see on my table there, we have a number of books laid out and so on. So it was really fun. This is for a private group that I offered this class, but I'm going to be opening this one up at large and offering that to others as well. So again, working with animal totems and animal spirit guides, it's fun. But that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. In the spirit of animals, however, I am using a deck today for this week's card pull for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration, one we've seen before, just because I love the animals in it, how they're portrayed and the attributes. It's Colette Baron Reed's. There you go. Hope you can see it. I love this card deck. It's the Spirit Animal Oracle, and just a beautiful, beautiful deck. I like all of her decks, but this one has 68 cards, so a lot of different animals are represented and beautiful imagery. So again, I'm just going to pull a card for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. If you've been following along, welcome back. If you're new to this is just me pulling a card and sharing with you what really jumps out to me as the opportunity for spiritual growth that this card presents as something to ponder as I go through my week. And I really, you're welcome to draw from what I draw from it. I encourage you, more importantly, to pay attention to what jumps out to you, what really resonates with you intuitively as something that you want to focus on this week for your own growth, to reflect upon, to be inspired by. So as I've been talking, I've been shuffling as I always do. Cards are kind of fragile objects, so I don't like to beat them up by doing conventional shuffling like you would a regular deck of cards, but also I'm standing up, which makes it hard to shuffle them that way. So I just grab I kind of split the deck in half and drop some in front, some in back, some in front, some in back, some in front, some in back, and I do it many times until I've really connected with, where my distractions are out of the way and I've really connected with the essence of my query, which is whatever question you're asking when you go to cards. It's really important when you're working with cards to have a focus on what it is you're trying to seek understanding of, because it's sort of like garbage in, garbage out. If you pull a card and you didn't really pose a question and you're like, what does this mean? You're going to have greater context for the answer if you understand what the question is. So I like to put it that way. Anyway, our query again is to pull a card for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration for this week. So I'm getting ready to pull. Could always pull a couple from the center. I just feel, compelled. It's my little card reading OCD, I suppose you could say. And when it feels right, I pull the card. So here we go. The one that my thumb lands on is the one I'm going to be pulling from. And this week's card is, oh my God, Rabbit Spirit. Well, if you've ever been to my office or ever watched these videos, you know that this card, the rabbits rather, are heavily represented. I've literally got one on my wall. I've got one in a picture behind me you can see, and there are rabbits all over my office. Rabbits are a spirit guide to me. They have been my entire life. And that's why I have them all over my office ever since I was a very little girl. Generally speaking, rabbits represent paying attention to your surroundings. Why? Because they're prey animals. So those long ears, those eyes situated on the sides of their heads enable them to be aware and alert to changing circumstances. And because of their sort of hair trigger ability to jump and move and their zigzagging motion, it means they can quickly move away from predators. They're not really designed for endurance running. They're good for short spurts. And again, they tend to zigzag as a way of evading predator versus a straight line away. But not only do they have the ears and eyes to be aware of predators and threats in our lives as human beings, I think we can also take the inspiration of having those be attuned to what we're seeing and what's happening in our environment, our circumstances, means that we're also aware of opportunities. I always look at this from a numerological perspective. The number of this card is 49. And if you add the 9 and the 4 together, you get 13. If you add the 1 and the 3 together, you get 4. 13-4 has come up for us before. It is a karmic debt number. But 4, to really hone in on the 4 there, is the number of structure. Process, due diligence, organization. I also look at 4 as a number of accountability, because it sort of makes us do what you need to do by way of rules, regulations, and those rules include rules and regulations, so to speak, that apply to us personally, what we need to do in order to create proper structure in our lives. So this tells me a couple things. First of all, I love the fact the message that says now is a lucky time. We also have little bunnies. It is that time of year. So that's another really important element of rabbit energy, rabbit medicine, if you will. Its power as a spirit guide is creativity. Yes, literally, and that they make little bunnies, but also metaphorically, and that's a time for creative solutions, creative approaches, and so on. So I'm going to look at this as making sure, as a way of doing due diligence for myself, that 4 energy, that creativity is in order and may always be in order, but also that just be attuned to my surroundings. I can be lost in my head quite a lot. I can take an entire walk for a mile and realize I really don't remember getting from point A to point B. My body moved along. I did sort of pay attention, but my head was elsewhere. So this reminds me to stay attuned to circumstances, surroundings, and just what's going on in my life. But again, a lucky time tells me this might be an opportunity to find something really cool if I pay a little bit more attention and make an active, regular practice of doing it. So that's my takeaway. Besides the fact that it's just cracking me up that I just today taught an animal spirit guide class. And as I was talking to everyone about, one of the biggest spirit guides in my life, as long as I can remember, is rabbit. And out of a deck of 68 cards, this is the one I, quote, randomly picked. Is not lost on me. Is that magic or what? Hee hee. I hope you have a magical week. I hope you too experience little serendipities like this. And generally speaking, pay attention to the animals in your life and whoever comes into your experience. Whether it's a hawk or a raccoon or the squirrels in the backyard, just sort of be an observance of which animals are kind of hanging around. And then you may, are coming into your experience, so to speak, the ones that you tend to notice. And take a look out there. There are a lot of good resources on animal spirit guides and animal totems. Hang on. 2 references right here. One is my favorite, Animal Speak, Ted Andrews. This is more, I want to say, anchored in Native American spirituality and the animals you might find in North and Central America. It's a great book. It's a great book. I've referred back to it many, many, many times. Stephen Farmer has also published several books. And also, this is another one that you might use as a reference point. Stephen Farmer's conclusions are not necessarily the same as Ted Andrews on the traditional symbolism of animals, but it's really fun to look into that as another reference for what we can learn about those animals that are coming into our experience and what they might teach us about their powers, their abilities, and their ability to just navigate the plane and navigate the world. So anyway, as you can see, I get excited about this. So I'll be scheduling this class soon. I will announce it by way of my normal distribution list. So if you're on it, you will get that email. If not, go to my website. There will be a link there for adding yourself to that distribution list so you can keep track of classes and other special offerings that are happening. I hope you have a wonderful, inspired day, and again, a magical week. And thanks for watching. Would love to hear from you. Would love to work with you. My website's laurieblomer.com. My email address is laurieblomerpsychic@gmail.com. And again, have an inspired week. Thanks again for watching.